Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. Coming up, we have Frank Tiano with Monster Planes, some exciting action there. Ford Heacock with the Lake Mirror Auto Classic, special announcement there, and Big Tyus from Polk State College Athletics. Stick around for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, Mr. Al Snow, former PGA professional and superstar. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to be back, Mark.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on the show. You know, we've had a long run, or a long time actually, since you and I have hosted the show together, but it is certainly a pleasure, and I'm going to get some insights from you on what's happening at the PGA and some other things. But in the interim, we have a couple of folks to thank.
Yeah, absolutely. This segment is being sponsored by Harry's Old Place.
All right. Well, Harry's Old Place is actually in Winter Haven, and it's just down the road on Cypress Gardens Road, not the Boulevard, in Winter Haven, Florida. If you've never had it, Harry in the Bag is the best I've ever tasted when it comes to grouper. It's
good
awesome.
Stuff.
Oh,
it's good stuff.
Fantastic. Well, speaking of best that there is, the Lake Mirror Auto Classic has been around. This will be the 14th season, and it's coming up in Lakeland on Lake Mirror. This is an event, if you're a car aficionado, if you just like a good time at a fun event, this is the event for you. It's truly, Al, I enjoy going every year, at least that I'm in town. I was not in town last year, so I missed it. Shame on me, but it is exciting. It's so much fun, and just the environment is great for families. It's great if you want to just go out on a nice date with your wife or whatever it may be. It's fun stuff.
In this community, it's one of those events that every year you go through and you circle those events that you have to go to every year, and this is one of those. Lake Mirror Auto Classic.
Well, just so happens, as mentioned at the top of the show, we have Ford Heacock with us, and yes, he is a gentleman that you've seen on radio. Yeah, you've seen him on radio, at least I do on my dial, and also on TV, but he has, I don't know, I guess had the honor of starting this event, which this will be the 14th year. And Ford, we're so excited to have you and to talk about the event for 2013. I mean, everybody gets so excited about this, you know, and they go, oh, what are the dates for next year? You know, you always have some celebrities associated with the event and some of the finest cars on the planet.
Well, thank you, Mark. It's very kind. Al, good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's great to be back. And this year is going to be another big one. We're running way ahead of registrations. We're up about 15%. This will clearly be the largest event we've ever had. And we're beginning to stretch the streets in downtown Lakeland and make it work. But you talk about our special guest every year, and I'm pleased to announce that our guest of honor this year is a very important designer from General Motors. Mr. Wayne Cherry was head of global design for General Motors and responsible for changing the direction of Cadillac.
Wow.
And Bob Lutz, the chairman of General Motors, credited Wayne with saving General Motors because of the fact that he saved Cadillac. And the car that did that for them is called the Cadillac 16. And it's a concept car that was designed in the late 90s. And that car will be here on display at our show.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Well, I remember as a little kid, you know, and when I say a little kid, of course, that was what, 10 years ago or something like that, but not really. But back in the early 60s, you know, the big old caddies with the fins, and I mean, those things, you know, we called them boats. Now the things were just massive. And, you know, they kind of trudged along, and then, you know, started that downhill slide. But then all of a sudden, they rebranded themselves under Mr. Cherry's direction, and wow, what a difference.
They did sort of lose their direction during the 70s and 80s, and Wayne Cherry, who I have a lot of respect for as a designer, and who I think history will treat very kind because of his talent, you know, envisioned a change of direction of Cadillac, more of an edgy, youthful design. Not that they want to abandon their traditional market, but it's designs really by computer. And because we're in the computer age, his theory is that these cars really epitomize what a computer designed car might look like.
Well, Ford, I know we're in the 14th year now for the Auto Classic. I mean, how has the Classic kind of evolved over the years, and you know, from the early beginnings to what we're going to see this week?
Well, the very first year in '99, we limited the show to Lake Mirror Park. And a few years later, we began to grow the show, and we now take over all the downtown streets around central Lakeland. And we've added a collector car auction, which our friend Marty Higginbotham conducts for us every year. We've added a lot of special features. A new one for this year will be food trucks. We'll have a row of food trucks that'll be on the north side of Lake Mirror, and they've become a real popular item around the county. And they love Lakeland and Winter Haven. They do a great job over here.
Lobster rolls.
Yeah.
Got to make sure you get the lobster rolls. Those things are unbelievable.
And we've added a vintage fashion show a few years ago that's taken on, and we get a lot of folks that dress for the occasion. They dress to match the car era that they're showing. So somebody from the 1920s might be in there. And that's a big hit. And we've added vintage motorcycles, vintage boats, amphicars, which are the little neat cars that go in the water. And this year we're adding antique bicycles. We have an 1864 Bone Shaker bicycle from France. This is one of these high wheeler bikes.
Oh yeah.
And so we'll have a few of those on display. So, I mean, there's really, and it's very much of a family event. This event is free to the community because of our sponsors, and the vendors help support it. But we'll probably see 35 or 40,000 spectators in downtown Lakeland the weekend of October the 19th. The main show is on Saturday, which is the 19th, but we really open on Friday at Lake Mirror Park with the Budweiser Hot Rod Rendezvous. And we bring out all the hot rods on Friday night. We have a rock and roll concert, and we also have a new car show on Friday night. So there's a lot going on. And we've registered in excess of 600 vehicles. So there will be all types of show cars, from really old classics to more modern muscle cars and street rods. So,
You know, Ford, where are these people coming from? I mean, this is obvious. I mean, with 600 cars, you know, I don't think there's 600 antique cars in Polk County. There may be, but I mean, these are some of the classics. I mean, they're coming from throughout the state or throughout the country.
well, we have a small number of cars every year that now are coming from out of state. And I know we've got a very nice car coming from Missouri. We've got some cars coming from the Northeast. The majority of the cars are Florida cars, or Southeast cars, I should say, Florida, Georgia. This is what I would refer to as a real high caliber regional event. This is not a national show like Amelia Island or Pebble Beach, but it's really just the next tier below it. And we really receive accolades every year from visitors because of downtown Lakeland and the quality of the park at Lake Mirror Park. The people come here and they say, wow, we had no idea this was sitting here just off Interstate 4.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, it is a good thing that it is, you know, both Friday and Saturday night, you've got a little bit of different elements every day. And to go around the streets in Lake Mirror Park, especially on Saturday, I mean, you always miss something. I mean, there are so many great and really neat cars that you can't really see it at all one time. You've got to take your time and really get into it.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of variety. We might even, remember the movie Tron that had the motorcycles in it? We've had a conversation this week. We may have the Tron motorcycles here as well. So I mean, there's just a lot of great stuff.
That's great.
Well, you know, a funny story that you know, there's been an awful lot of different vehicles, different cars that have appeared in the Classic over the years. And I remember one year, the first year, they had the Batmobile there, and my oldest son, I can't even remember how long ago this was. It had to be, it probably had to be at the beginning, near the beginning of the start of this thing, and he was just like mesmerized by that car. He just walked around, his mouth was open, you know, one of those things. But speaking of the beginning, you know, Ford, this is a classic case, no pun intended. The event itself, there was discussions, and you know, it became, you know, something that started getting legs, and we ended up talking about this. And I think one of the reasons it grew was an understanding that we had that say, look, and I saw this in the future as something that really could be massive. So we talked, and one of the things that Ford and I talked about was the fact that, look, this event isn't going to be just a one-day event. Let's grow it, you know. And Ford agreed to do that. And true to his word, the thing grew beyond my expectations. But it really takes a lot of organization, but a commitment to excellence, and sort of like your business, Heacock Insurance. It's just first class all the way.
Well, thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah.
I would like to add that we've created this year a fund at the Community Foundation of Lakeland. It's called the Friends of Lake Mirror, and the purpose of this fund is to raise dollars to protect Lake Mirror Park for its future restoration and preservation needs. And I'm very excited about that, because that will give our volunteers and our participants a real purpose for this event. And the fund is already at about $90,000, and we expect that we'll pass by the $100,000 mark before the event.
Wow.
Fantastic. Well, and you touched on your volunteers. I mean, obviously, in such a massive event, in such a large event, you've got a lot of people that are helping you out. I mean, how many people help you to put on this
Well, every
event?
year we employ over 200 volunteers. I'd say employ, we utilize. we deploy over 200 wonderful volunteers, and positioning 600 show cars in about an hour time is a big task. So they all do their job in the morning, then they're done to enjoy the show.
Great.
Oh, that's some fantastic stuff. But for the sake of our viewers, number one, people want to know where they can get more information to get a preview of what's going on, and then secondly, the exact dates and hours from when to when.
Okay, well, Friday, the 18th of October, beginning at 6 o'clock in the evening, is the Budweiser Hot Rod Rendezvous. That is our opening event, and we'll have a lot of people. It's at Lake Mirror Park in downtown Lakeland. Hot rods, music, new cars. It'll be an exciting evening. Saturday, October the 19th, beginning at 10 a.m., throughout downtown Lakeland and in Lake Mirror Park are all of the car show activities, including the collector car auction. More information is available on our website, which is www.lakemirrorclassic.
Lake Mirror Classic. There it is up on the screen. So
lakemirrorclassic.com.
Okay,
Great.
Well, fantastic. Ford, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to visit with us. Looking forward to the event, as always. And best of luck. Congratulations. 15% increase, 600 cars. That's hard to believe, but right here in Polk County in Lakeland. World-class show.
Thank you very much, Mark, and Al, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, speaking of classics, we've been really blessed to start out with one college football team here in Polk County, Weber University. Well, joining them, Warner Southern University, and they are battling it out. They battled it out, I should say, but you can watch the battle right here on PGTV. Check this out. Al and Mark, we'll be back right after this.
Well, this is exciting for Polk County as a commissioner because we are all about economic development, and having these two teams here, a rivalry for Polk County. I understand there's about 3,000 people here, so they brought visitors here from all over the country, actually, that has flown in to see their children play. So it's economic development for us. It's making cash registers ring and people staying in heads and beds.
Football is one of the really exciting sports, and I've really been amazed at the enthusiasm that comes with bringing football into the athletic program. It's especially true when you have good young men who've come to be a part of the program, and coaches who understand the institutional ethos and are wanting it to be what's good for the institution. We have some terrific people. They are impacting our community in lots of important ways. So yeah, it is phenomenal, the kind of enthusiasm that football can bring to a school.
As one of the captains of Warner University, it is my job to keep my team motivated and encourage them to keep fighting as long as the game is going on, and encourage them to keep it 100, 1 through 4th quarter. Our coaching staff teaches us to be better men for once before football, because football doesn't last that long. After that, they teach us to play hard, relentless.
The kids who come to Warner to want to play football have to understand first and foremost, you are a student first. You are a student athlete and not the other way around. We're here to educate young men and women in a Christian environment. The kids who come here to play any sport have to understand that's your primary job. You need to do well in the classroom. That's their number one job, number one challenge, and we take that very seriously.
We appreciate the visitors being here and coming into Polk County, and welcome everyone. I've been noticing the people in the stands, coming out with their families, and this is such a family culture here that we're able to come out and be together. My hopes and dreams is one day each one of them is going to have their own stadium. And I've seen the plans for WABA College. Actually, they're what they wanted to build one day, and that's a vision for them. And hopefully soon it's going to come true, because once they have these stadiums, it's only going to get bigger and better for them.
When you start as a program, you take your losses early on, you develop your program. It's a great win for us to have the kind of kids we have, to have the number of kids we have, to have the athletic director we have, and the coaches that we have. This is a big win for Warner, and we're glad we've done it.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. If you're just joining us, I'm Mark Jackson. To my right is Al Snow. And Al, wow, that's cool.
Ford
WABA
Heacock.
College.
Oh,
Ford
WABA
Heacock.
Warner.
Oh, that was phenomenal. But the WABA Warner footage, who would have thunk? A few years ago that we'd have 2 college football teams. Looks like we're going to have a third here very shortly with Southeastern. That's good for Polk County. It really is good.
I mean, definitely, and a little friendly competition between them. I mean, I know that the students really enjoy that, and I think the community that those programs build up will really support it as well.
Fantastic. We can, and we're certainly going to be doing some more, having some more coverage of that, and talking about the impact that's having in Polk County.
Yep. And this segment is sponsored by Best Western Auburndale.
Well, there's an industry that a lot of people really don't know a whole lot about, but it is really cool. It is, in fact, it's unbelievable. If you've never been to a RC, a radio-controlled event before, airplanes, you've got to check it out. And we're going to give you the opportunity to get more information about event. We have a special guest on the show today. He is no stranger to Sports Central, because we've had the opportunity to visit with him before, Mr. Frank Tiano with Monster Planes. Frank, thanks so much for joining us. It's good to see you again.
Pleasure is all mine.
Well, we had a little off-air discussion, by the way. Ford Heacock was leaving the studio, and the Frank was actually coming in, getting all mic'd up. But Frank actually had to move his event, Monster Planes, a week later than the Lake Mirror Auto Classic, because of the size of both events. So we want to make sure that economic impact and the opportunity to see both events was good. But that was an interesting exchange. I've got one more little tidbit that we'll talk about in a second. But Frank, the event's coming up. Tell us a little bit about the date and what we can expect this year.
It's October 24th, 25th, and 26th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 1 week after Ford's event. And, boy, nobody showed up, No, it wasn't that bad, but it was a definite impact. And we found out that I never realized how big that show is. But anyway, ours is grown as well. Mm-hmm. I think it's our 5th year now in Lakeland. And we get about 250 large airplanes. It's called Monster Planes for a reason. The minimum weight limit for any airplane there is 35 pounds, so they're not that would relate to a wingspan of maybe 8 feet. So that's the smallest thing that's there. Wow. And we have some that come in that are right at the legal limit of 150 pounds now, and which are 12, 15 feet airplanes at 500 cc motors. I mean, it's incredible
Like a
stuff.
chainsaw.
Oh, some of them are multi-cylinder. Oh yeah, like 4-cylinder, 440 cc's, turning a propeller like this big at 5,000 RPM. It has so grown, Mark.
Yeah, and I know you've done a number of events before, and actually my son is a bit of an aviation nut, so I mean we've gone to a few of your events before, and it's always amazing. I mean to see the normal jet or RC planes, but once you see those monster planes, I mean it's you've got some of the little kids standing next to them. I mean they're bigger than a child, and it's really impressive. We
kind of hope that when people come and see the show, the event, that it may kindle start a little spark, that maybe the young boys will get involved in model aviation. There's very few non-athletic sports or things to do for a youngster today anymore. Everything is electronic, games and telephones. So it'd be nice if they would.
We won't go down that road.
And they see the stuff, and then they maybe go to the hobby shop and they continue.
Well, we're watching some footage right now, Frank, of some of these planes. One looked like, I'm not sure what kind of a bomber it is. It's the twin tail right there. But these things take off on a grass field, and it looked like we had a lipstick camera on this one.
Yes.
There we go. Now, what kind of plane is this?
That's an OV-10 Bronco. That was used in the Vietnam conflict, pardon me, as a spotter observation type airplane, and it carried light ordnance to help ground support somebody who was maybe parachuted on the ground. That's a jet. That's the new YF-22. You can't miss that thing.
Yep.
That has thrust vectoring. You know what that is, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
That has it. By the way, that runway is a manicured runway specially put in at the airport for these models.
Now, you call that Paradise Field.
Paradise Field, yes.
Well, the F-22, which we were just watching, I've never seen a plane, I mean a full-size plane, jet, do what this thing can do.
It flips on itself.
I mean, it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'd at some point would just, give whatever to.
It's going to be. Sorry, it's coming. It's coming to be fly-by-mind, that airplane. Do you know that?
No.
Yes. They've developed it now where the pilot can think of doing something, and the airplane reacts that fast. No longer are the controls in those airplanes cables going to surfaces. Everything's what they call fly-by-wire. That means they put a little resistance in the stick, but the stick really is electronic. So it's a computer making the plane turn, and really crazy stuff going on.
That's
crazy. That's amazing. I mean, how many of these planes are you expecting to have this year?
We get about 105. I'm expecting 105 guys, and they bring multiple airplanes. So we'll have 240 to 260, 250 airplanes.
Wow.
That whole area out there is lined with tents. We have a tent company. They actually rent a tent, and they bring in these buses. It really is cool. It's like a circus almost. It really is cool. We have a candy bomber. We have this 15-foot red airplane that we made Bombay doors in it, this big and this deep, and we filled both of them with candy. We had to learn to use the right kind because the kids were getting beamed. And we fly over and we get the kids all lined up and we make them wait. They're all like, and then we let it go and then we let them all go out there and they're like, and they're picking up the candy everywhere. So we call it the candy bomber. So we have a lot of fun out there.
Oh my gosh, that is some great stuff. Well, you talked about the location at Lakeland Airport in Paradise Field. Where exactly is that from the terminal itself? North, south, east, west?
Actually, I'm glad you asked me that. I wouldn't have thought of it before. It's important that people realize this is not on the airport port. We're not interfering anywhere with traffic. I mean, this is on airport property. It's owned by the airport,
okay.
City of Lakeland. It's really all the way to Pipkin Road. It's at the very corner of the airport, we're like way in the corner, but it's a big area, very long. So the entrance is at gate 36 on West Pipkin Road.
Okay.
Just a little bit past, I think it's the Geico building that's there.
Yeah, right.
Heading, whatever, that would be heading west, I guess?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, anyway. And then you drive in and maybe 500, 600 feet, we have a big parking area, and then it's there.
Well, you were talking. I'm going to jump in this one as well because it's on my mind. But you're talking a little bit earlier off camera about there's a contingent of racing folks that have gotten into and enjoy this type of stuff, including Carl Edwards and some of these others. Tell us about that. I mean, that's unique stuff.
I had no.
If you can.
I can. Well, I can. What I can tell you from eyes on, you know, I met Juan Pablo Montoya. We become friends. Emails once in a while, texts once in a while, you know. And he came 2 years ago, and he's very friendly with one of our sponsors. Yeah. And he was telling me last year, we sat and chatted, that a lot of the big names in NASCAR, many of them, I mean, and I'm not into NASCAR enough to know all the names, but I know some of them. Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, his crew chief, the kid that's in the, I forgot his name. Anyway, they all fly radio control. And they started with trainers like any kid would start today. Yeah. And that's what they do when they're at a track, because they're immense, as you know. Like Daytona's huge, you know, it's long. They actually, not in between racing, but like when they go for practice and it shuts down for the day, they pull out their helicopters and their RC airplanes and they're flying them everywhere, and they do combat with streamers. It's unbelievable. He's telling me, they're really into it. Well, there's nothing else to do. Yeah. Right. They're in a motorhome. They're there. Big wide open space. What do we do? Well, that's what they do. Yeah.
Interesting stuff. There you go, everybody. You first heard it right here on Sports Central, and that's interesting stuff.
I'm sure there's a few dollars passing hands back and forth on those who can fly the fastest and who can do the most tricks. I'm sure that those guys, being as competitive as they are, have a good time with it.
Frank, you've got a website, and I know there's a lot of people that are interested in radio-controlled aviation. And they can go to your site, get information not only about the event, but about getting involved. What do you do? You know, and where do I go to get these things? So,
you know, it's something that I didn't know until recently. Lakeland has evidently become the model aviation capital of the world. All the magazines call it that now, because we have 3 big events here. No other city in the whole country does that. Plus, we have Top Gun, which is international.
Oh yeah, right? That's a biggie.
Anyway. The events have become so popular that you don't even have to type in my website anymore. It used to be, www.franktiano.com. That's my company's name. Mm-hmm. Now you just type in Florida Jets and it comes up a bazillion times. YouTube and Top Gun, boom. Monster planes, boom. It's all there. Just remember the name of the event. That's how popular and how many hits it gets. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world look at this. They can't come. They're in Thailand.
Well, we sure encourage them to come. Yeah. But, well, Frank, we obviously appreciate you coming in, and it's going to be an exciting event. The dates again are?
October 24th through the 26th, Thursday through Saturday.
Okay. And so make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you get an opportunity. Take the family out there. You want to get involved in RC aviation. Look for Frank. He's not an easy guy to miss. So we're excited about the event. We're excited about you being here. And once again, thank you.
And thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Frank talked a little bit about Lakeland now being labeled as the RC capital of the world, and rightly so. Well, Polk County, Auburndale, is listed as the soccer capital of Florida. Why? Because the largest sports governing body in the state of Florida, the Florida Youth Soccer Association, their headquarters are based at Lake Myrtle. Well, thanks to them, we have some intermediate soccer tips for all of you soccer fans and players out there. Check this out. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Brad, and I'm going to give you some intermediate soccer tips to help get you started playing the game. Oftentimes you might find the ball in the air, and it's your goal as the player to control it and bring it back down to the ground where you're going to have the best use. There's 3 main ways to do this: the head trap, the chest trap, and the thigh trap. We're going to take a look at those 3 right now. The head trap should be done with the top of your forehead, close to where your hairline is. Notice Maria angles it down. She brings it back down to the ground rather than popping it up. Popping it up just leaves it out of your control, but on the ground at your feet, you're gonna have the ball. Next up is the chest trap. The chest trap, it's important to sort of receive it, to cushion the blow, to catch it. Notice on the chest trap, Maria brings her arms forward to help cushion the blow. Once she has it trapped, she simply lets it drop down to her feet where she's gained possession once again. The final trap is the thigh trap. Now with the thigh trap, it's important to keep your body in front of the ball. And the thigh trap is not done out to the side, because if it were to deflect off your thigh and go behind you, well, that's just not good. Notice with the thigh trap, Maria's goal is to simply provide a backboard for it to bounce off of. It's all about the angles on this one and making sure that you're not forcefully trying to knock it back. Now these are just some basic building blocks to help improve your game. But remember, it takes practice to get better, and above all, have fun.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, Al Snow. And Al?
Live and in studio, but let me tell you, I'd rather be at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, who is this segment sponsor. They've got some great food over there.
They have the coldest beer in town, you know. So I've heard. I wouldn't know.
I've heard that rumor as well.
If I go over there, it's just for sarsaparilla. Well, we had some very special guests and gentlemen that are synonymous with their respective sports and sports disciplines. Ford Heacock with the Lake Mirror Auto Classic, the 14th edition. And we also had Frank Tiano, who sort of informed us that Lakeland, Polk County is now labeled as the radio control aviation capital of the world. So we're proud to know that, and obviously proud to live here. But if you're into baseball, there's a name that's synonymous with amateur baseball in Polk County. And his name, Bing Tyus, from a lot of things. He is the president, CEO, whatever Willie Robertson calls it on Duck Dynasty, but the World Amateur Baseball Association, but also the head athletic director at Polk State College. Bing, so much said, so much information, but you have more information about the Showcase Classic coming up here in just a couple of weeks.
Al, Mark, great to be with you. We do have some exciting things coming up. And I love to talk about it.
Then you're in the right place, man.
But we do sponsor a big event. I am the chair for junior college baseball in Florida, and we are hosting the Junior College All-Star Weekend the 25th through the 27th of this month. It's a huge event. We'll have all 24 junior college programs will be here, and there are 40 high school showcase teams who will also be here. So big event for Polk County and especially Lakeland.
Fantastic. And all these teams and all these players, I mean, what, as part of the showcase, I mean, are they getting in front of scouts? Are they getting in front of college coaches? I mean, what's kind of their angle on this for being showcased?
We'll have over 250 professional scouts and college coaches in attendance.
Man, wow.
And it's just a huge event, you know, and what better place to have it than Tiger Town and Henley Field and Lake Bonnie, and it's a great event.
Oh, it is at Lake Bonnie and Henley.
Yes,
Oh,
we're all over.
I mean, that is just, well, I mean, those fields are outstanding, you know, and Henley Field, so much history there. You know, I don't know if these kids get a chance to reflect or even think about the history at Henley Field and how many superstars have played there. But this event, you know, has grown from, I can't fail to mention Tiger Town. You know, I mean, gee, many Christmas, talk about synonymous with spring training in Florida, in the world. But being the event itself, this showcase has grown phenomenal, you know, and it comes at a perfect time of the year. These kids, the showcase meaning that there's scouts that want to take them somewhere at some point. Can you give us some examples of, you know, where some of these kids end up after the showcase?
Well, the great thing about this is there's really some place for everybody. And of those 250 plus colleges and professional people who are there, we have Division III, we have Division I, and some of those guys are ready to go straight to the professional ranks. So it's just a great place to be if you want to showcase your talents. And we fill up months in advance. It's been full for months.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, yeah, it's a great opportunity, and you talk about talent and some of the great, kind of junior programs and the players that go through. I mean, you yourself on the Polk State side have, a feather in your cap. Obviously, the Polk State baseball team is very highly regarded. How are things looking for the team this year?
Well, it's looking pretty good. We've really been excited about athletics at Polk. Last year, I got to go with the team to the JUCO World Series in Colorado. What a great experience. But because we have a president dedicated to extracurricular activities, all programs at the college, not just athletics, but because we have that kind of president, we've been able to be successful. We also had David Steele come in and do our marketing at the college. We changed our colors, we changed our name, and that's been a big plus for us. So athletics is on the move at Polk. We're enjoying it. We've had a lot of success in the recent past, and it's fun. Winning's fun.
Well, obviously being somewhat humble there, but you've been the architect of a lot of this stuff and the movement and so on. But you also have to acknowledge Eileen Holden, who is so aggressive, has a vision. She's been very, very strong and a unbelievable advocate, not only on the field, but off the field. I remember sitting in her office one time. We were talking about some business. I can't even remember what it was, and she started talking about some of the student athletes. She knows who they are. It's unbelievable. And she sits there and, well, this kid came from this environment, and this kid came from here. And like, how do you know all this? I mean, you got hundreds of athletes that you're dealing with there, but she had a vision, has a vision, like I said, both on and off the field on the athletic side, but for the programs that are out there too. So, I think that Polk County has been blessed to have Eileen and yourself, in the positions, because we've been made better off as the former adjunct in economics that I am. We're made better off because of this. And that's truly been a blessing. But Bing, you do a lot of other events throughout the course of the year too. You've got tournaments. And I'm supposed to know about all these 220, 30 some events that we do. But I'll drive by Chain of Lake Field and, oh, Bing must have another event this weekend or whatever. Tell us a little about some of those.
Well, we do. Back in 1998, we started doing baseball events. We started USSSA baseball in Florida, and since that time, it's been a joy. We bring in teams from all over the country. We have great events, and Polk County is the premier place to do that. We're just blessed to have the facilities we have. And by the way, I have a big announcement we're going to make here in a couple of months. We're working on a big project. We're going to do something that's really going to be big for Polk County. So we're excited to tell you about that.
Wow.
Okay, wait a minute. You set me up. That's on television. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to set him up. I'm going to do this. I swore I wouldn't do it. We were eating in a restaurant one time. We were actually trying to grow. We were talking about marketing one of his events. And we were sitting there, and I won't say what restaurant it was in.
Can't believe you're going to do that.
No, I'm going to do it. I got thrown under the bus. And so, we ordered our food. Bing orders this big old steak, and so we're having lunch, and, he gobbles this thing down like, in about half the time it takes me to eat an egg roll. And and so we were out socializing or something one evening, having some sarsaparilla. And Debbie, his wife, was there, and I go, oh man, Bing, that was awesome. We had a great lunch the other day, and it was really productive. I said, did you enjoy that steak? And his wife, Debbie, goes, boom, just smacks him almost off his feet. He goes, Bing, you're not supposed to be doing that. I still laugh about that situation.
I deserved it.
It's funny, Bing's on a bit of a strict diet, and I was with Mark, that's okay, we can do this. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'll go right ahead.
No problem. Yeah, and over the course of the year, we've done a number of events with you, from some of the Sporting Clays tournaments and some of the other fundraisers, and I must say that at those events, a lot of the players are volunteers, and they work a lot of those events. And of all the players we've met, I mean, obviously sometimes students and athletes get a bad rap, but I mean, the kids are really humble. They're very much, in support of Polk State. They're there having fun, and it's been good to get to know some of the baseball players and basketball players, and I think there's been some women's soccer players out to some of those events. So just kind of kudos to you, your organization, and Polk State on having some really great kids that represent you all very well.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that, and that's something we work real hard at. We did 23 events to support the community last year, and we're really proud of our students. They work hard at it. We work hard at it, so thank you for saying that.
Well, it's kind of interesting, Al, that you mentioned that, because they have a annual fundraiser golf tournament. And in fact, I think you played last year, I believe, didn't you?
Yes, I was.
Well, you remember we were out
fortunate
there.
enough to play.
Ringer.
And and they've got the baseball team and all the players out there. They are so polite. They are so helpful. I'm going, boy, they must have them on a very short leash or something. But I mean, all of them, well dressed, clean-cut, good-looking kids, and it runs like clockwork. And so, being that event's coming up again in the spring, isn't it?
It is. January.
It's in January.
It is.
I'm trying to put that on my schedule.
That's
one of my favorites. Oh, I love that event. That is a good time. But that's an event. If you want to see the class of Polk State College,
Absolutely.
make sure you check that out, everybody, and we'll provide some information for that.
Polk.edu.
Polk.edu. There you go, everybody. More information, or you just want to talk to Bing about eating steaks or whatever you think. Or not get a smack from his wife now. Old Debbie. But anyway, so many thanks go out to you and Eileen Holden, who has been truly a blessing for Polk County and for Winter Haven. So thanks, Bing.
Well, if I could, give me just a second to thank Polk County Sports Marketing. You guys, without you guys, I don't know where we would be, but what you've done for this county and for all of us is phenomenal, and thank you.
Well, we appreciate it.
Ben.
Thanks. Well, we talk about soccer. We talked about a number of things over the course of this show, and the great job. Hats off to PGTV and their camera crew. These are some of the best, gang, and we're blessed to have them. They're management, camera people, directors, and producers. But we also like to feature some of the athletes, one-on-one, up close and personal. And we have a young man, Fabiola, isn't that the way you pronounce it? Fabiola Rosada. And talk about a star in Polk County, up and coming? I think so. I think you'll agree after you check this one out. We'll be back.
I started playing when I was 5 in Puerto Rico, mainly because I would always bother my parents playing volleyball with just a random ball in their house, and they got annoyed, so they signed me up for volleyball. My sister, Natalie Rosado, is the one that inspires me in volleyball because right now she's playing at FAU, and that's something I want to accomplish in life. I'm a libero, so liberos play only back row. They can't go front row. They can't hit or set front row, or else the other team will get a point. In club, they can't serve. They just started serving last year, and we're not allowed to hit in front of the line. And our subs, they don't count. When we go in and out, we don't count as a sub. Oh, my favorite subject will be math because I think that's what I'm best at right now. And like English and that is not my favorite. In my future, I'm definitely gonna go to college. I don't know what college yet because I just want a scholarship. Wherever I get a scholarship, I'm probably gonna go there. I've gotten a couple letters from different D1 universities, so I'm starting to look at it. And I want to study criminology, so I want to graduate college and all that. And maybe if I get a chance to go farther with volleyball, then I'll definitely do it. I think that my biggest accomplishment will be getting an All-American at AAU AAU Nationals, my bad, as a libero. I don't have that much time to do other stuff other than volleyball because I play club volleyball and school volleyball. So when I actually have time, I just go to the movies and go to the mall with my friends and just go to their house and do different things. I listen to a lot of different musics. I can listen to Spanish, rap, English music, whatever, because I'm Puerto Rican, so I got different types I like to listen to. She would say that I'm a leader since I'm captain in my club team and in my school team. The word to describe myself would be passionate, because I really love the game of volleyball, and I just love playing it.
Back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson here along with my co-host, Mr. Al Snow, and go right ahead.
Well, this segment is sponsored by Hyatt Place Lakeland Center.
Well, you got that right. I had the gender wrong on Fabiola, but you know when you get a name stuck in your head and there's like this word association, I've got about 20 thoughts going on at the same time that I'm trying to process. Fabiola Rosado. I had Fabio, the guy with the long hair that all the women thought was, you know, is this model guy and all this type of stuff. And it's just, sometimes my brain just doesn't translate things right. But obviously, very beautiful young lady and very talented volleyball player. She's been marvelous. She's been really good, you know, but better than the way my brain works sometimes. You know, I guess that's because it gets a little too busy. But Al, one of the things I want to talk about is a guide that has, there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, and we've got an announcement too about another international event that's actually in Commissioner Smith's district. It's an international World Championship boat race, and we're going to be making an official announcement about that. I can't give you too much information now. A few I's have to be dotted and T's have to be crossed. But Commissioner, if you're watching, we are going to be discussing this with you hopefully soon. But it's a World Championships. It's coming a year from now, and we're going to have two international events. We're going to have the IPSC, which you were an architect of in the recruiting process of the International Practical Shooting World Super Bowl of shooting, and that's at the same time as this International World Championship boat race here in Polk County in Lake Alfred. It is going to be crazier than this month, this year.
It'll be a very busy time for us, and great opportunity for the community to get out and see these events, and two world-class events going on at the same time in Polk County.
Well, I didn't even mean to really talk about it too much, Al, but you know, you've been immersed in putting this in. Last night, in fact, I saw Frank Garcia at the CFDC's annual banquet, and I've got to share some information about that conversation later. But that is a huge event that's coming to Polk County, and we've talked a little bit about it before, but you know, you're talking what, 2,000 shooters plus families, friends, media?
Yeah, I mean, we're actually the 1-year countdown right now for the IPSC World Shoot, which is the World Handgun Championships. It's practical shooting, which is, you know, people shooting around corners and having to go through some obstacles and things like that. So it's actually action-packed more so than kind of a stand event and just shoot at a target. But yeah, we've got at least 1,800 competitors from around the world, 88 countries being represented. And we've got events going on from October 2nd through the 19th of 2014 that will have everything from Olympic-style opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies, a parade involved with that. We've got obviously the shooting competition, and you know, in addition to all the competitors coming in, their families are coming in. You know, one of the really big things about us in winning the bid for this event was we sold everything else that could be done in Central Florida while they're here, what the families can do, the excursions, and you know, going to Legoland and Safari Wilderness and various things like that, and that really won the bid for us. So it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be you know, a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, but we're basically in the 1-year countdown now for that event.
You're talking about winning the bid because it came down to the USA versus, say, Southeast Asian country, which shall remain nameless, but Polk County, the USA, Polk County, Al, and the rest of them representing the USA, sold Central Florida as a family-friendly destination and wholesome, family-friendly, won out over the polar opposite, if you can imagine what that was about. But the fact of the matter is, This is the Super Bowl of shooting.
Shooting,
It is
absolutely.
phenomenal. Al, one other little thing that this is sort of a deviation from what we normally do, but Al's the deviant, I'm the straight one. But I don't know, Russ, if they can see that. Sure, they can. Right there, it's the new cycling guide that just came out. In fact, you just got this today. Tell us a little bit about what this is all about, Al.
Yeah, fresh off the printer. We generally obviously promote a lot of the various activities to do here in Central Florida for people coming from outside the area. And the cycling guide is something we've been working on for some time. Obviously, we have a lot of great cycling opportunities here in Polk County, from Lois Harpy Park for those that love mountain biking to our road. Various road rides that are done every week to Fort Fraser Trail, Tico Trail, Van Fleet Trail, those type of places. So, one of the things we did is we basically put together a resource that people coming in from out of town, and even those locals that want to find a new route or a new ride, we put together the annual cycling guide, and it's new, updated, a little bit of online opportunities there to go and track your rides by GPS, and it's really that resource for people that love cycling, and it's something that's growing, not only for local people that are cycling in all the opportunities we have, but we do get a lot of visitors, and one of the things that kind of came out of it is some of the routes actually came from the Bike Florida tour that happened this past March. A lot of those riders kind of tested some of the rides for us.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. 600 riders from all over the country. And,
yeah, it was that one was from New York to California, Washington. I mean, we did well with that event. It was very good, and they served as guinea pigs for some of our routes.
Well, we talked to Bing Tyus a little bit earlier about the showcase coming up, and baseball doesn't stop, nor does it start there. But the Lake Region Baseball Fall Classic Invitational starts Saturday, October 12th, and concludes Sunday the 13th. One of the events coming up, and I know October is 20-some events that are being held in Polk County, which, folks, effectively means there's just new money being pumped in. And it's not money that we have to pay back. This is money. This is real economic development. When you bring new money into Polk County, creates jobs, we're all made better off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it now that the weather is kind of moderated a little bit,
man,
I mean, this
beautiful.
is the time of year when things really start picking up. I know softball as well. I mean, not only baseball, and on the softball side of things, National Softball Association will have an event next weekend at the Diamondplex. Their adult softball tournament's going on out there. So softball picking up as well, not just.
Well, it's kind of ramping up for this spring. One of the events that's new, we've been thrilled actually. Recruited the event away from another destination, and many of you are familiar with the Russmat Baseball Spring Classic, where we have about 215, I guess, teams come in from all over the country. This is the same type of event, only it's girls fast pitch softball, and we've got projecting 110 teams over the course of 4 weeks, month of March. So if you are planning on getting a hotel room for friends or family or for yourself, you better get it early, because there won't be any in Polk County during that time frame. But Al, I know that you've worked a little bit on the Paintball World Cup. Did I say Paintball World Cup?
You did.
I meant this one. It wasn't, he or she. Paintball World Cup right here in Polk County.
And again, it kind of speaks to the fact that we are bringing a lot of different events. I mean, certain times of the year, certain, economic conditions, some events kind of go away, and then we recruit other events in paintball. I mean, it's a game. You think a lot of people just going out and playing in the woods, shooting each other with paint, but I mean, this is the World Cup competition. 5,000 competitors, professionals. These are professional paintball players. They get paid for what they do from around the world. Coming to Polk County, they've been here. This is, I think, the 5th year that we've done this event. And it's more and more popular, and to go out there and just talk to people from Brazil and from South America and Europe, and they are coming here to play paintball for 5 days, and it's a great competition. It's really fun to watch. I mean, if you haven't been out there,
A lot of strategy involved in that.
A lot of strategy, and they're crawling underneath obstacles and over things and diving here and there. I mean, it's physical activity, but it's really fun. And this year they're doing an event within the event for kids to get them involved in paintball. It's a tournament that basically is all kids that have never played before, and gets them kind of introduced to the game. It's not the professional paintballs that can hurt them. It's made for kids, and it's definitely something that people might want to try out if some of their kids have an idea that they want to get into paintball.
Yeah, well, it's pretty cool. I know that there's going to be some vendors as well as manufacturers. It's a convention as well. So this is a massive event. It's held at Fantasy of Flight, and the dates are. Megan still does all of our research, and she does a good job, and it's sometimes easy to pick on her. But fact of the matter is, the event itself is the 17th of October through the 20th, and we have information you can get at the website centralfloridasports.com. centralfloridasports.com. You get information about any of the 220 or 30 events that Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing hosts throughout the course of the year. With paintball, tell me about Beat Baseball.
Beat Baseball, I mean, this is, again, a really neat, fun event. Beat Baseball is made for people that cannot see or are sight, have some issues with their sight. So it's basically baseball played with a ball that beeps. The bases beep. And it's a tournament that's going on the 18th through the 20th at Lake Myrtle Sports Park. Full baseball tournament for those that are challenged with seeing.
Okay, it's for the blind.
Yes, absolutely.
It's hard to believe. They don't play it at a baseball facility. They play it in an open, like a soccer, multi-purpose
fields. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's a lot of fun, and again, to kind of really support something that you just definitely don't see every day.
Yeah, well, it's the same weekend as the Lake Mirror Auto Classic Festival and Auction, to be technically correct, which is the 18th through the 20th of October. So don't forget that one. That is really pretty cool. And table tennis, you talked about variety and diversifying your portfolio. Well, that applies if you're a financial planner or if you're in the business of tourism and sports. Diverse portfolio means less risk. So we got a little, people call it ping pong. Correct term is table tennis. Same weekend, 18th through the 20th at Simpson Park.
We're gonna be jumping that week, that's for sure, and that's at like you said, Simpsons Park Community Center. And again, we will have another paintball challenge going on, and the JT First Shot Paintball Challenge is actually going on October 19th. That's part of the event going on at Fantasy of Flight.
Well, we talked about diversity. We'll talk about senior athletes here. Don't we have a senior event coming in here pretty quick, too?
We do. The Florida Half Century softball event's going on at the Auburndale Softball Complex, and that's the 19th and 20th of October.
All right.
So busy weekend coming up.
It's going to be nuts. Well, Al, we do have a few people that we need to thank because our in-studio projector director, there we go. Megan Still is giving us the hook, and we have to follow her lead. But tell us a little bit about the folks that have helped make this happen, and obviously make Polk County a better place.
Absolutely. Well, we've got Harry's Old Place, the Lakeland Ledger, Holiday Inn Express Lakeland, Sunsplash Vacation Homes, and Best Western Auburndale.
Now, that's some great stuff. Well, many thanks go out, and ladies and gentlemen, you've got to be thankful to what was described last night at the CFDC annual banquet, the best board of county commissioners that Polk County has ever had, progressive, business-minded, and we're certainly grateful for them. We are always thankful for the PGTV crew that makes all of this possible, the camera folks, Russ Daly and Kate, and the rest of the behind-the-scenes folks. Ladies and gentlemen, they're a great group, and we're certainly blessed to have all of them. Well, if you can't and you haven't got enough of Al and Mark, we're going to be back. We're going to be back, that is, on October 18th. However, if you'd like to see more of this show, more of Al and Mark, check out the following dates and times for re-airs of this show. But in the interim, this is Mark Jackson. For Al Snow, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.